Welcome and thank you so much for joining us and watching this presentation. We're Zonta from Olympia and we are bringing you information regarding missing and murdered Indigenous women. This presentation has been sponsored by the Nisqually Indian Tribe and the Cowlitz Indian Tribe. We thank them so much for their support. Zonta of Olympia positively changes women's lives in our local community and internationally. We advocate for women's rights, partner with our community to achieve common goals. We contribute our time, talent, and treasures and raise money for individual scholarships, grants to local nonprofit organizations, and support Zonta International's projects. I want to introduce our first speaker who will be bringing us our prayer to open our ceremonies. Harvest Moon comes to us from the Cowlitz tribe where she shares her stories that tell of a life of the past, the present, and the future. Joining us via Zoom, please welcome Harvest Moon.
I like to open up with a beautiful prayer. It's beautiful. Let us just not necessarily a prayer because we all come from different stages of our lives and such, but it's a time for us to, as the frost covers the leaves, as the creeks start to show a shine of ice, and as we gather together in our long ago, like our longhouses, and a time to open our ears and listen and understand what is happening in our day and age now. And I pray that our ears open up and that our hearts will see and understand where each and every one of us are coming from different directions and such. It's just been a beautiful time. And each time when we wake up, I like you to just kind of hold yourself tight before you even come out of those blankets, and just hold yourself tight and just realize, you know, I love you and let me shine today. Let me be the person who I really need to be. And in turn, it will help all of us. I believe each of us have pieces for this puzzle of this world. And some of us can see the full picture of the puzzle. Some of us are putting pieces together that are completely blank. And some of us, we don't even see the puzzle at all. But it is our time to realize that each of us is a piece, a vital, important piece that will piece together a tranquil and full life. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And please always keep looking up and putting those shoes on, gals, because we got a lot of work ahead of us. Thank you. Nahashka.
Representative Deborah Lekinoff represents the 40th District in Washington State, which includes part of Whatcom, Skagit, and San Juan counties. Sworn into the Washington State House of Representatives in January 2019, she is the only Native American woman to currently serve in the legislature. Representative Lekinoff is Vice Chair of the House State Government and Tribal Relations Committee. She co-sponsored House Bill 1725-2021-22 concerning creation of an Endangered Missing Person Advisory Designation for missing Indigenous persons. Representative Lekinoff is the Executive Committee Co-Chair of the Washington State Missing and Murdered Women and People Task Force. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me here today. I'm Representative Deborah Lekinoff out of the 40th Legislative District. My Tlingit name, as you can see on my title, is Hikchasi. I am from the small community located in Southeast Alaska. I am part Tlingit and I am part Aleut from the Pribilof Islands. I want to first thank you, Harvest Moon Howell, for the beautiful words that you shared. It's such a good way to open us up this morning open our hearts, open our minds, open our spirits, and help us so much to remember those who have lost, those who are crying for help, and helping remind us that we're all here today to hear them, and then to also protect those yet to come. I want to start off today and just give you just a little bit of an overview of where we are legislatively in Washington State, working on MMIWP, not only for our state, but also working in collaboration with the states around us, and then working with our British Columbia and our First Nation brothers and sisters to the north. We are actually developing a cold case unit specifically for Native American cases within the Attorney General's office. The Attorney General is removing barriers and opening up those voices of the 114 unresolved homicide cases will now have special attention. Not to mention, we're hearing from our own tribal chiefs, our tribal police chiefs, those who have retired, those who have friends who have retired, who are non-tribal, want to volunteer their services to help on these investigations. That's how far we've come, my friends. My daughter will not be alone if I go missing. Our homicide incidents occur within reservation borders. We're going to need to learn to trust. And for us as Indian people, that is so hard. For us as Native American women, that is so hard. Not only to trust the jurisdictions to work together and to trust a non-Native coming to knock at my door in a police uniform, we need to open up that door, but they need to trust us and we need to trust them. And rebuilding that is going to take time, and we understand that. But to find the unknown who are missing, we're going to have to try. Being the only Native American state legislature for the past 2 years, I welcome Chris, I welcome Claudia, because I know this work is within their heart, and they're going to open up even more doors and work in collaboration with me. So thank you for having me here today. And thank you for investing in me, and thank you for giving me your prayers, because they mean the world to me.
As Program Coordinator for Pathways to Healing with the Cowlitz Tribe, Karen Kamaroff is joining us next. She is currently providing child abuse assessments through CARES Northwest, a child advocate center in Portland. Recently opened her own consulting business, providing qualified expert witness testimony for Indian child welfare cases in Washington and Oregon. She is a member of the local Indian Child Welfare Advisory Committee, co-chair for the Social Work Washington Equity Coalition, co-chair for the Clark County Human Trafficking Task Force Steering Committee, vice chair for Clark County Volunteer Lawyers Program, board of trustee for SWATCH, board member for the Washington State Domestic Violence Coalition, co-chair for Healthy Living Collaborative Policy Committee, and the Native American Advisory Board at Washington State University, Vancouver. She is passionate about addressing equity, disproportionality in systems, and working collaboratively with diverse community members. Please welcome Karen Kamaroff.
My name is Karen Kamaroff. I'm an enrolled citizen of the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma, and my given name is Hotentona, which loosely translates to she who seeks, goes along it, and gets there. When we're looking at this stuff around murdered and missing Indigenous people, how important, how key it is. I mean, I totally appreciate Representative Lickenoff and what she's doing at that policy level, and that's like my passion as well, is looking at policy. But if we didn't have grassroots efforts by our Indigenous women here, this stuff wouldn't be recognized in the first place. So it's so important to recognize where this movement and efforts come from. So thank you.
Shay Squally joins us from the Nisqually tribe. She is a teacher and language keeper. She is also 5th council on the Nisqually Tribal Council. Please welcome Shay Squally.
Galapu si abdi ishin. Yaista blue sitsta. To all cheds goy apsh. Dai hak tisis ochach otislache. Good morning, everyone. My name is Yaista Blue, also known as Shanaina Squally. Last year, my uncle Aaron Squally, he was missing for a week, and during that week, He was only a few minutes away from the tribe. He was in someone's yard where there were transient people living in that yard. There was trailers and a lot of people. He was found in the back of his truck and he was beaten to death. And that was just so close to us. And his name is Aaron Squally. When they go and look, they do their thing. They bring the dogs. When they can't find him, it's just a cold case. And then they move on to the next one. But we still want him to come home. And we still want justice for my Uncle Aaron. This really does hit close to home, and it's a really big issue in Indian country. And these are just stories that I've heard of, and there's so many more, so many that they had shared on the screen. And so this is a huge topic. Thank you for your invitation to come speak today.
Roxanne is a fearless and dedicated grassroots organizer and social justice advocate who has dedicated her work to Indian country. She is recognized nationally for her work with Native families and communities seeking justice and healing. She is also known for her work on human trafficking in Native communities. She stands on the front lines for Indigenous rights and environmental justice. She embodies vibrant Indigenous leadership through the resilience of culture, ceremony with a lens of historical trauma. Roxanne is a family member of MMIWP and the granddaughter of boarding and mission school survivors. She is a survivor of human trafficking, domestic violence, childhood abduction, and sexual abuse. She draws on her lived experience to empower survivors, and she joins us today to show you, share with you, and empower you. Please welcome Roxanne White.
Inknash Wanuksha, Roxanne White, Washnash, Kanik, Yakima, Ku, Nimipu, Ku, Nuksek, Ku, Ani, Wikshaishash, Coast Salish Territory, Inawanikwas, Piolake, Kinmai, Titokum. And what I just said was in 2 different languages, or 3 actually. I said, in my traditional Yakima language, I introduced myself, my English name, and I also said all of my tribes that I come from, which are the Yakima, the Nez Perce, the Nooksack, and the Gros Ventre. And I acknowledge that I live on the territories of the Coast Salish people, the Duwamish, Suquamish, Muckleshoot, and Tulalip peoples, and I shared in my traditional Nimipuit language, my Indian name is Walks with the People. It's important that people know that not only do I do this work, this spiritual work, not only do I live this way of life to help other families, I'm not here trying to profit off of it. This is what the ancestors have called me to do, and I know this. I've done and organized over 40 events since 2017, all over from Idaho, Montana, all over Washington. And all of my events have been justice campaigns, prayer walks, vigils, visibility. These are just working with families. Like, what does it take for us to be visible? We haven't even got an acknowledgement of the Holocaust against Indigenous people here in the States. Our African American brothers and sisters, they got an apology. Jewish people got an apology, an acknowledgement, but right here on our own territories, we have not been, the Holocaust and the genocide on Indigenous people right here has not been acknowledged. I'm so grateful to be here. I want to thank Zonta for the opportunity. I want to thank each and every one of you. I have some brochures back there, my business card. Yes, thank you very much. Katsiaya.
So what can you do after watching this presentation? For just one thing you can do, share it with a friend. Have a conversation with them about how you felt about it. Ask them how they felt. Sharing this information with others helps spread the word and brings awareness to this tragedy that's occurring in our nation. I want to thank you so much for joining us and for joining Zonta of Olympia and sharing this information with you. Thank you.